Socrates famously feared that writing things down will destroy our human memory. And now we are facing similar fears again in the AI world. We are on the brink of another massive cognition shift where analytical thoughts are being offloaded to algorithms. By the end of this video, you will understand how these revolutions have transformed human intelligence and what it means for the current AI revolution. Similar things have happened in the past and we have survived all of that. To truly understand what's happening right now, we need to go back around 2500 years ago to ancient Greek, to a conversation between Socrates and a student about technology that was going to destroy the human mind at that time. It was quite new and experimental. What it was? Writing. Socrates mentioned in his book Phaedrus that writing means writing things externally to a book, external marks which will replace our internal memory. And he had some genuine fears about it, like we humans will become more forgetful. We will be not able to recall things that fast. And turns out he was right. We lost raw memorization. In the past, where there used to be oral culture like poems, stories and things which were shared from families to families, all disappeared. We modern humans don't do this anymore and lost that capability physically and mentally in our brains. The brain traded our memory for something else. Our brain reduced the part that used to perform the function of memory, but other than that, we gained abstract reasoning, logic, philosophy, law, science, and the capacity to analyze a lot of things without worrying about forgetting them. The resources were just reallocated, and this wasn't a one-time thing. It happened multiple times, like fast forwarded 1000 years after this, around 14th century, the printing press revolution came. And exact same panic happened this time also. Religious people feared chaos and wrong thinking. They even thought of loss of oral tradition or capability to write it, even after taking around centuries to spread, the revolution took a lot of centuries to spread, as around 1900 only 20% population of globe was literate. But when it spreaded, various revolutions came, like Renaissance, Reformation and the Great Scientific Revolution. Humanity once again adapted. In this, we lost oral authority over the ability to memorize texts, but what we gained was independent thinking, scientific methods, mass education, without which the modern human life cannot be imagined. Similarly, a few skills that weren't required anymore and were easily outsourced to printing were disappeared, and again new skills came. We humans again adapted. Now let's jump again. In around 1970s, calculators entered school and teachers absolutely lost their minds over it. The fear was that students will use calculators and won't use their minds to do it, and in that process they will lose their capability to solve math problems. They were right about it. The students actually lost their arithmetic speeds and accuracy. Their capacities reduced. They weren't as good as the past generations, but what they gained in exchange for that was the ability to solve complex engineering problems, build scientific models and run simulations, nothing that the previous generation have even imagined. The question just gradually over the years shifted from can you multiply this to can you design a bridge, and of course you can now use calculators. They are a standard. And again, right now, before AI arrived, we got one more similar phenomena like this, one that will exactly told us how things have happened and how we adapt to them. There was a 2011 study around Google search. When some information was saved online, like on Google search, people lost the ability to remember it. This was called Google effect. But in addition to that, there was an increase in capacity of recall where the information is actually present. So people lost the ability to remember what that information was, but the capacity to know where the information is actually increased. Similar things happened with GPS also. There was loss of spatial memory and inability to navigate. Brain scans of people who often use GPS showed a reduction in hippocampus sizes. So the pattern is there. Every tech that comes and fulfills its goal, it makes a specific skill obsolete. Other skills that increase the usefulness of that tech dominate it. The tools don't make us dumb. They reallocate what smart actually means. So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, the pattern is present. AI is just next step. We will adapt like always we do. And you would be right, except there is one critical difference. One that this time changes a lot of things. Before we get to know what makes AI different, you need to understand what's actually happening inside your skull and your brain when a shift like this occurs. See, the brain is an organ in our skull, everyone knows that, but it has a limited cortical real estate, which means a limited space to store all the neurons in it. We cannot make our skull bigger and increase the amount of neurons available in it. The space is finite, just like a computer RAM. It is also limited, and after it's full, when a new software is needed to be opened, we need to close old programs before that, and that is called neuron recycling. Like when books came, before that our brains weren't good at reading books, and this is evolutionary, something recent. So no reading modules are present in our genes, as genetic evolution takes thousands and millions of years. The brain repurposed the visual cortex to a different function. Initially its function was to recognize faces, but then it was shifted to recognizing words from what is written in the book, and it was hijacked for letters. The face recognition system was shifted to the right hemisphere, and what we gained was that we were able to decode symbols like letters and words into different meanings. If we will offload one skill and free up resources for it by using some external tool, the resources get allocated to somewhere else, something which we now need in more amount. And it doesn't take thousands or millions of years like genetic evolution, but our brain adapts very fast, and it still takes some years. Like in London taxi drivers, it takes around 3 or 4 years for them to remember all the streets and the whole map of the area. Their brain adapts by growing the size of hippocampus. For a child to learn everything, and child literacy takes around 5 to 7 years. Even when printing press came, the mass adoption took 300 years for that. The brain still needs time, of which timeline is in few years. For our brain to adapt to writing, it took millennia. For printing, centuries. Calculators were learned in decades, and internet in a few years. But AI, it's just few months. The capabilities of AI are doubling every 18 months. And that right there, that's the problem. For the first time in human history, the technology is evolving faster than our biology can keep up. The brain may face and is facing some issues adapting to it faster than needed. Every tech that came in the past gave us time, which we can call as generational buffer, but AI is doubling its capacity in every 18 months, and you can see that. Even education is slower than that. It takes around 12 years to students go from 1st to 12th and complete its curriculum, which isn't even changing rapidly, it's constant. Whereas in AI, companies are releasing newer models every 6 months, and we cannot keep up with that. The tech is changing very faster than we humans and our brains can physically adapt to it. It's like asking our brain to adapt in real time. which it cannot do as fast as AI. It can do that, but it struggles a lot in that process, and there are a lot of side effects for it. We are already seeing a lot of side effects, like what happens when brain cannot keep up with the pace of change of technology. The data is very alarming, like what happened in Bastani study. 1,000 students were given GPT-4 for their math practice. When the group used GPT to solve papers, there was a 48% gain in their practice performance. Same group, when was unassisted without any AI, their performance was 17% worse from the non-AI using group. They initially thought that they learned more and AI helped them, but overall the AI made them more dumb and lost their capability to solve questions. And why this happened? Well, this happened because AI solves for you. The brain doesn't need to solve those things manually and struggle for that. Without any struggle, our brain don't learn things. However, there are some benefits of it also, like using AI for teaching, where the model doesn't answer you but asks you questions, makes your brain struggle to reach the perfect answer. And the results were, as expected, very good. There was a 127% increase in practice and retention of that knowledge. So the application of that AI predicts what will happen, whether the students will lose their capacity or will the AI become a teacher for them and help them learn faster, better according to their skills. And this isn't happening just to students, it's happening to professionals also right now. GitHub Copilot data shows that juniors who use AI, they get a 45% gain in their productivity, but they don't learn syntax. The AI does for them, the AI writes the code for them and they accept it blindly. Whereas the seniors, the experienced seniors, gain less advantages, around 15%, as they spend more time in reviewing code, catching bugs. They check all the things. That's why they are slower and they know things at a more basic level. The juniors never struggle, so they will hopefully never become seniors. The AI removes the bottom struggle of the ladder, which makes an unpracticed man a senior person. And this is called Matthew effect, where rich gets richer. The person who already has an expertise gains maximum advantage of AI, as he can counter that AI and he also learns a lot while doing that. The person who doesn't know about that field just blindly accepts as AI is more expert than him. He cannot question the AI's answers. Same tool which has two different outcomes depending on your skills. And it's not about AI. Every technology that comes creates winners and losers, like what happened with literacy. Sweden, which had around 80% of it, while the global was just 12%. And it was not because there were different tools. The books were same, the way of writing was same, but mode of the use was different. And similar things will happen, but in a compressed timeline due to AI. And it all comes down to the individual choices, be it of a nation or an individual. There are some passive ways, like to use AI to avoid thinking, which means skill vaporization and atrophy our brains and that part of our brain that does that. Or a path of struggle, where we can use AI to amplify our thinking and in fact cognitive resilience, and it will help us improve better and improve the parts of our brain better. The tool is neutral. The way it is used determines its outcome. There is a huge skill shift expected due to AI. In the past, things that were considered top or very important aren't going to exist anymore in the next few decades. Tasks which were rote or something which had to be executed step by step, or pattern matching or basic writing or coding. AI is very good at that and can easily replace most people even now. the tasks which need evaluation judgment, like spotting AI's errors, or the capacity to think about what AI is thinking and how it works and how it gets answers, or ability to think in systems, to run large organizations, handle a lot of people, manager roles are going to become more important. The people who would be able to understand how AI models work, how to use them, and how to manage multiple of them are going to gain a lot of advantages. Things will become better and cheaper for them, especially for large organizations, as they won't think about humans first. They will think about saving costs first, and AI models are cheaper at basic tasks than humans. In the past, the thing was that I can write this. Now AI can make the similar drafts 10 times faster, better, and cheaper. There is no longer writer needed, but just a final editor who reviews what the AI has written, checks it and modifies it if needed, and approves it, which is what's needed now. There has been multiple warning signs about it, like Flynn effect, which tells that IQ was rising for decades, but now the reversal of Flynn effect is happening. The IQs are decreasing since 2000s. The smartphones are often linked with cognitive offloading, brains built through retrieval and calculation, and if we load everything to AI models our brains stop building that kind of architecture. We are already seeing atrophy there before AI has even become mainstream in most fields. So the question becomes, how do we adopt it without atrophying and becoming slaves to AI? Now there is a very good model to show that how to adapt, which is called Centaur model, which means humans act as an strategic head and AI is just for execution. Every step that AI thinks and takes is monitored carefully by the boss, who would be human. And to use AI much better, domain expertise is needed in whatever field you are working, because when a person knows very high amount of knowledge and has confidence, he can counter question the AI models, as he know a lot. If a person without any knowledge handles the AI models, he will believe whatever the AI model throws at him, and simply you cannot direct what you don't understand. So of course AI is coming for most of the jobs in this world. Similar things have happened in the past when those revolutions come. Like, it feels like a joke that in the past people feared that writing will be bad for us, but turns out now we use it every day and cannot live without it. In fact, most of the information, and very important information, that is required to build AI models has been in written form, ironically. So it's not that things just disappear. We humans have outlasted many things, and we will outlast AI also. The brains are very good at adapting things. It's just that you must force your brain to adapt fast enough, because those who will force their brains to adapt faster than others will gain more advantage. In the end everything follows natural laws, and those who adapt faster survive things better, and that is evolution for you, for me, and it applies to everyone. There are two paths: one where you can see all these things being passive and avoid all the struggle, thinking all of this is a fad and will disappear, it won't matter to you, or option B, where you can try to adapt to the path at a low level. Maybe if it will come to be mainstream, you will have other skills to focus on, to work on, to gain advantage of the AI. Learn to use AI. Think what task of yours that you don't want to do anymore and have expertise in, the AI model can do. It will save your time and maybe improve your skills also on the way. AI doesn't replace intelligence, it replaces unexamined carelessness and rote learning. The future belongs to people who understand how cognition shifts and adapts deliberately. They know how to handle people, how to handle AI models, how these things work, and what they can do with them. That's it. This was my video for today. Tell me in the comments if you have any questions and I will try to answer them. I have many other thoughts which will be posted in further videos later. You can check out my past videos